Inspirational talk. Everyday people. Inspirational talk. Intentional choices. Inspirational talk. Extraordinary outcomes. It's Inspirational Talk with Toneal. Now here's your host, International Award-winning author and filmmaker, Toneal M. Jackson.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it may be when you guys are tuning in. I want to first just say welcome back. Inspirational Talk has been on hiatus. It has been so much going on, but I am glad to not only be back, but to be back with my special guest on tonight. She is certainly no stranger to Inspirational Talk. Probably not a stranger to most of you, definitely not a stranger to me. I am so excited to be able to welcome my guest, none other than Aretha Miss Respect Tatum. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Hey, happy Thursday.
Happy
I am so
Thursday.
excited to be on Inspirational Talk with Toneal,
Woo!
and I'm ready to do some inspirational talking. How about that?
Well, you know what? That's exactly what we are going to do. And so, just to, give the premise for this show and the next few weeks of shows, we are on the road to the 7th Annual APS Awards Gala. And so, I am of this gala, which gives me the opportunity to recognize and honor certain individuals, you being one of them. And so I want to say last year, I think it's last year, might have been year before, but I started where the road leading up to the gala, what we do is we bring on the honorees and give them the opportunity to be highlighted. So yes, you see them on the ads and the promos, but you also are having the opportunity to hear from them personally. And I definitely want to give a shout out to Miss Veronica, who is tagging folks and getting them in here. Thank you so much, Veronica. But you have been nominated and you are being honored this year as being the artistic visionary of the year. And so right before I ask you how you feel about all of that, I just want to kind of explain to the viewers what that award actually symbolizes. So I want to say it was maybe in 2018 or 2019, I had created this category or this award, and this is for an individual who is taking their artistic ability, and it's incorporating more than just themselves, right? So this isn't just a person who wrote a book. This isn't just a person who, created a film or sang a song, but this is a person whose vision, their product and the vision of their product is creating either platforms or outlets for other people. It is making change for the people that's around them. It's really just having an effective result on so many people that's beyond them, to the point where it's almost becoming a movement in and of itself. And so when I started thinking about, people that I've seen, people that I may know, the works that they're doing, you immediately came to mind. This whole thing that you're doing with Seasoned, and we're going to talk about Seasoned, it has really just been not just eye-opening, but it's been powerful. Something that started out as a short film and now is gone from being a short film to a TV show and so much more. And so for those of you who are watching, that is what being the artistic visionary of the year is all about. And so to you, Miss Respect, what, first of all, how does it feel? What did you think when you got the call and you found out that this was what was happening for you this year?
It actually happened on my birthday.
It
So
did.
happy birthday to me. So that was definitely a pleasant surprise. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm 56 and 56 is bliss. So every superhero has to have a theme in a theme song. So that was definitely a blessing to find out that I am receiving this award. And it's so amazing that the reason is because of the whole seasoned movement. And it is a movement to show the world that just because you're rated PG 50 plus, that, hey, don't count me out. We still have so much to give to the world and so much to contribute to the world where age is not a factor.
I love it. I love it. And so I kind of want to talk about, because we've had you and your crew, we've had you guys on the show before, but there may be someone who didn't see that show, right? There may be someone, I don't know where they are, who has not heard of Seasoned. But let's just kind of start at the beginning. When you created the original short film, what gave you the inspiration to do that?
Well, Season, the original short film, was during, of course, the world shut down during the pandemic. And at that time, of course, the entertainment industry totally went to a halt. But God, who can give you inspiration, led me to do comedic shorts during the pandemic. But the way it was structured was, the premise was always something where they could self-tape, the actors would self-tape, and we would put it together in editing. So No Contact Love is about an app for no contact during COVID. And then there was Book Me, and then there was Socialists, about people who had social media addiction, with somebody I know, Toneal, is a producer on that particular film. So with those were, God allowed me to be creative during the time when the industry was shut down, but my creativity was not shut down following God's lead. So Season came about as we were coming out of the lockdown in 2021 around the spring. God gave me the idea about Season, to have this group of women who were in their 50s, who after 30 years, since college, they wanted to form a singing group, and then finally decided, we're going to do this now. And Season was what I call a hybrid project, where we did part of it virtually, and then we actually did part of it and filmed it in person on stage where the ladies were performing. And it was so much fun. And so the message of Season was, you've lived your life, now live your dream. And it resonated with the cast, Tracy R. Kincaid and Natasha Hutchins. And it was a message that was so powerful that it actually got the attention of another filmmaker, Andre Blaze Rogers, who actually knew Tracy Kincaid and said, hey, I need to meet Aretha. And then we had a meeting. He said, because he really, really, the message resonated with him. He said, you need to turn this into a series. I said, okay, I wasn't planning on that, but God, right? And what happened was, he was like, you write out the screenplay, and then I'll film it and edit it. We'll get the cast. And before we knew it, we were going. And as we went, because God always supplies, it's a musical series. So he sent the musicians and other singers to be a part of this project, and majority of them are over 50 years old. So we have sparked something, ignited something in so many people who thought it was too late. And we have encouraged them, no, if you want to be a singer, you want to be an actor, you want to be a performer, you want to be a comedian, you want to start a business, be an entrepreneur, it's not too late. You've lived your life, you raised your kids, you raised your grandkids, you've done 40 years maybe on a 9 to 5. It's time to do something that's just for you.
I love it. I love it. And this is so much of the reason why you were thought of to be honored for this particular award, because when you guys are listening, nothing of what she said was about her specifically. Everything was about, number one, inspiring others, and specifically inspiring individuals, because sometimes as you get older, the world becomes what's the word I want to look for, like, sometimes you're discriminated against because of your age. Sometimes people make you feel like you're less than, or you should just go home, or this generation isn't for you. And so for you to create a project that reignited an entire era of people to come together, and it encouraged them and it gave them such confidence. Like, that's what sparks a movement, and that's what I believe that season has done. And so for me, I definitively wanted to recognize you for the work that you've done. And so, people are listening to you talking about this, so they're going to wonder, like, well, how long have you been making movies and being a screenwriter and all of this stuff? So why don't you talk about just your journey to being in this particular industry, because most people won't know, but you haven't always been here.
No, not at all. Seasoned actually starts with me in my journey. I my degree is in accounting, so I've spent most of my career working in various areas of the accounting field. So at that time, usually you get to 40, you think you figured yourself out and you figured your life out. That was not the case. At the age of 43 is when I was called into ministry. So my life went and shifted to a whole nother level. The next step was realizing that media, arts, and entertainment is my territory for ministry. So there's a mission not only for filmmaking, but also to be a light in the area of media, arts, and entertainment. So it was one of those 43 called into ministry. 47 published my first book. I have four now. Published my first book at 47. My first film was at 50 in 2017. My very first short film as writer, director, producer is all of 5 minutes and 17 seconds long. It's called Through His Eyes, The Inside of Bartimaeus, and it's from a blind man's perspective. So you get into his world, it's all audio, no visual. And so we actually did a film premiere, an hour of power at the movie theater for a 5-minute film. But only God would lead you to do things that way. And it was such a blessing to prove, and God was proving himself that you don't have to do a whole lot to make sure that you get things done. You can be powerful with a little thing. And then along the way, he led me to do sermons in under 60 seconds, which is something else that I do. Again, it doesn't take a whole lot to have your message resonate with people. So yes, I and then songwriting came during the pandemic. And 2020 was the first time I actually penned the word lyrics to a song. So it said, I was in shock, like, okay, Lord, I'm doing this now? Really? And the joke for me has been, my name is Aretha. And I would always hear Aretha, like Aretha Franklin, Respect. Do you sing? I said, no. And I still don't sing. But now I am a songwriter. And the funny part is, in order for the musicians and the singers to get the melody and how the song goes, I still have to sing it for them. God bless their heart and their ears for having to go through that. But God is definitely a comedian. It's like, yeah, you don't sing, but I'm going to start using you to write songs. And so this has been the season journey, where I would have thought at 40 that, oh, my life is going to go one way, but then it shifted in a whole different direction. So I've done more after 40 overall than I've done before 40.
Wow. I'm sorry, because I'm getting choked up. I'm looking at Tracy's comments, and she throwing me off, because she's just when you were talking about how you don't necessarily sing and things like that. So she's just starting to throw in little comments. But if you guys are just now tuning in, I am interviewing the 2023 APS Artistic Visionary of the Year, Aretha Miss Respect Tatum. And it has really been it's a joy. It's always a joy for me to speak with you. And I wanted to really kind of give an understanding of what this award is about, because I need for people to understand that this was not just something that was given because I know who you are. Because I mean, I know a lot of people, if we gonna just say it like that, I know a lot of people, but it's really, I'm honored to know you. And it's, you and I kind of talk all the time of saying, like, back in the Renaissance days, how you had like a Maya Angelou and the Langston Hughes and James Baldwin, and how they didn't know when they came together that they were gonna, just like be such a force, them knowing each other. And we always say, like, one day somebody's gonna say, "Hey, did Aretha and Toneal and all of us coming together?" But in being able to know you, I'm able to see the work that you do. I'm able to see the impact that you are having. And for me, you can't overlook that. You can't not highlight the work that you're doing. And we have Tracy that's watching now, and Tracy will actually be on a couple times within these next 6 weeks. And I bring Tracy up because you have really made such an impact on her. Like, if I don't say anybody else's name, Tracy has been so affected, and she sings your praises everywhere, and talking about how you're giving her the opportunity. I don't even remember the first project she worked on with you, but how she's like, I just asked for an opportunity, and that has totally changed my life. And when you're about ministry and you're about purpose, you understand that it's not always about going viral, but it's about being able to affect. If you can affect one person, then you've done your job. And so with you, it's always been such a spirit of humility, such a to God be the glory type of mentality. And so, like, I want to ask you, um beyond that, so you can't use what I just used for Tracy, but what has been your most rewarding part in this journey as a filmmaker? Because we haven't talked about you as an author. You stated that you are, but right now we're just looking at you as a filmmaker. What has been the most rewarding part of this journey?
Creating experiences and opportunities for other people. That is always the most rewarding part. When you think of the whole concept, there's something that God dropped in my spirit, a storyline, a subject matter, and then I discipline, because again, it doesn't just happen. God to give you things to do, but there's still faith without the works is dead. So so I still have to have the discipline to get it out of my head. And I'll often tell people that you got to get it out of your head, get it down on the paper so that it can be tangible, to pass it along to somebody else so that they can feast from it and be blessed by it. And then they can take it and run with it. So just seeing them take it, Tracy and Tarania and all the Veronica, all the cast members and crew that I've worked with, to see them take something that was in my head at one point and run with it has always been a blessing, because it creates opportunities, it creates experiences, but it starts with you. And I sometimes have to remind myself that no, everyone can't do it. Why? Because they will stop themselves, because they give excuses as to this is too hard, or yeah, I'll get around to it. When you put in the discipline and actually do it, it's going to bless some other people, but they can't get blessed if you hold on to your gifts, to your talents, to whatever it is that God has given you. So being able to release it is a blessing, and then it will bless others. Because Bishop J said this, and I held on to it. I hold on to nuggets. Everything that God has blessed you to do is not done by yourself or for yourself. So if you think that you can be the me, myself, and I, you'll be successful in your own mind. But to really make an impact on people, it's going to take other people to get on board to what God has given you to do, to help you as you manifest it, for the world to be blessed by it.
Absolutely. I totally agree with all of everything that you just said. And God he's so incredible. And as you're talking, like, again, because I know you, I'm trying not to get too choked up, because I remember some conversations that we had, and it hasn't always been easy. And so to see you being able to be in this moment, like, how has being a part of this, I don't even want to say, I don't want to just limit it to seasoned, but how has transitioned to being a filmmaker? So you started out as an accountant, turned minister and author, now filmmaker. Like, how has this journey changed you?
Woo. The shift to ministry, that yes to the Lord was the biggest change. The rest of it is continuing to say yes to the Lord. Because I haven't come up with any of it. I didn't plan to do any of this. One day, I'm thinking I'm doing this, and then the Lord will say, okay, I want you to do that. Say what? Okay, we doing this now. So then I do it. And what's so amazing is God is the best bio builder ever. If you follow his lead, he's going to take you from faith to faith, glory to glory. You will not stay comfortable when you're following God, because he's always going to take you to another level. So it went from, okay, write this book. I haven't written a book before. Well, I'm going to help you with it. And to hear, I will help you with it, was such a blessing. And then that, so with the filmmaking, same thing. He's right there helping me along the way. And then he's like, you're a filmmaker now. And then with the first song, he said, you're a songwriter now. I said, oh, okay, we're doing this. So he will show you who you really are. We really don't know who we are in him until he reveals it to us. So as I go, he keeps revealing different parts of who I am, who he created me to be. And so it's an amazing journey of discovery. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. And to hear other people say, oh, you do that too? Yeah, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kamitra says your dreams are coming true. So proud of you, Aretha Tatum. And when I say, it's so awesome, because sometimes you don't see it as it's happening. It's not until it has happened that you're like, wait a minute, I'm on the other side of it. Because as you said, going back, talking about being an author, you shared your story before about how your perception of what it meant to be an author, versus what actually happened. So like when we went to this event and you saw this woman who had like all of these books, and you're like, but I only have one book. Finish sharing that story for those who are watching.
Oh my goodness, that was an APS event. We were at an expo, and there was another author at our booth, and I'm new. My book was hot off the presses, and she's sitting there with, what does she have, 20 books?
Probably at least that, and they were novels.
20 thick books. And I felt for a moment, I felt intimidated, like, oh my goodness, this woman has 20 books, 20 big thick books, and I only have my one little book. But then the Lord, the Holy Spirit, reminded me right away, but you're still an author too. Whether you have one book or 20 books, you still deserve to be at the same table with her. And do not devalue, and that's for anybody. That's a lesson right there. Do not devalue what God has led you to do, comparing yourself to what somebody else is doing. There's a season for everything. She's been in it a lot longer than I was. So of course she kept writing and has 20 books. But that does not change the fact that I'm still an author with my one book at the time. So yes, that was a very valuable aha moment to build. God is a confidence builder. Your confidence in him. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So because I had that experience as an author, when I transitioned to being a filmmaker, I already got the lesson. Yeah, okay. So I only have one film. It's only 5 minutes long, but guess what? I'm a writer, I'm a director, I'm a producer, I'm a filmmaker. And you couldn't tell me nothing when it won an award. Like, I'm an award-winning filmmaker now, because they loved the creativity of that project, and they couldn't believe that you did this and brought the message home about blind Bartimaeus in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And I understood then the power of storytelling. It's not about the amount of words that you have or how long it is. It's the message. And you can tell that message in a short amount of time, and people will get it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I definitely have to just go back to what you said. God is the best bio builder ever. And I want to kind of again emphasize that point, because I believe somebody is watching, whether they're watching live or they watch it on the replay, and in their head, they're thinking that I already have to have X amount of experience in order to be called to the table, or already have to have this many degrees, or have worked in this industry. But you said earlier, all you have to do is be willing to answer the call. And as you give your yeses, then guess what? God begins to build your bio, things that you may have never thought that you were going to do. He opens the door, and it's simply dependent upon your yes. Are you willing to give him a yes? And so, for those of you who are just now tuning in, I am interviewing this year's Artistic Visionary of the Year for the 7th Annual APS Awards, and that is none other than my friend and mentor, Aretha Miss Respect Tatum. And we've been talking about her work with her latest project, Seasoned. And what I want to kind of do is break that down a little bit more. We'll talk about another couple personal questions with you, but when we talk about Season, because it's not just a short film, which, by the way, people can see where, how can they see the short film?
Short film on my YouTube channel, Miss Respect Speaks, Aretha Tatum. Under playlist, you'll see films by Aretha Tatum. So you can also see, quote unquote, the short film through his eyes as well. And my other short films are there.
I love it. So you're able, so if you guys missed it, if you just came along for Season the series and you thought that that was the beginning, no, it started with the short film. So go, as she said, go to her YouTube channel and you can check out Season the short. But then it transitioned to becoming Season the series. And we've talked about some of that. But then what else we have, because it's not just Season the series, but there is an entire like lineup, if you will. So let's talk about some of the other things that has now attached Seasoned with them.
Well, it's as I often say, it's not just a series, it's a movement. There's a message, it's a mood for 50 and older. So Season the series, which is streaming on Tubi, transition, we took it to the streets. And in April, we did Season the showcase. So the cast of Season the series, they're actually singers for real, musicians, real musicians, and the actors. So we created this showcase, which was I call it a buffet. So we would show clips from the series. So that's like a movie screening. We had live musical performances. So that is your concert. And then I had skits, comedy skits in between. So there was your stage play. So it was so much fun. And I am so thankful to all the talented cast and crew of Season, because they showed up and showed out. There was at least 30 cast members that were part of the showcase on stage. And the audience loved it. And it did what Season does. Some people have told me, hey, you have inspired me to get back to, doing my plays. You inspired me to get to writing. So the showcase itself was up close and personal, and people who were fans of the series had a chance to meet the cast in person, take pictures, get autographs. So that was the second phase of Season the movement. And now we also have, you can't have it without the merchandise. It's Seasoned the merchandise, which is we partnered with Kincaid with the K, Creations with the K, and we have the Season shirts, the hoodies. And again, it's not just about the show. It's the message of the show that we want to resonate to so many people. When I tell you what blessed my heart, particularly as one of our cast members and a filmmaker in her own right, Lisa D. Adams, Lisa's mom plays Mother Smith in the series Season. And when I tell you, at the showcase live on stage, she showed up and showed out there too. And that has been such a blessing, because her mom had never done anything like this before. So to be a mother, a grandmother, a great grandmother, and then now you're not only in a series, acting, but you're on the stage as well, acting. It just blesses my heart, because as Lisa said, it gives her life that she's doing that. And even in one of our directors, Brittany, her dad did one of the scenes in the series. So not only are we seasoned, but some of the younger cast have their seasoned parents, giving them the opportunity to do something they've never done before. And it's been amazing to see how they grab hold of it and shine with it.
I love it. Well, Shalonda's asking, where can we buy the merchandise? So we got the season merchandise, but where is it available?
Yeah, King Kincaide Creations Kreations.com.
I love it. So I'm gonna work on putting that link in here, kincaidcreations.com. So you guys go and you support the season movement. I hope I spelled it right. Hold on.
Tracy can put it in there too.
I was gonna say if Tracy is watching, Tracy, you put it in here, but there she go. Veronica already put it in there. Thank you, Veronica. So you guys support, and to everybody who is watching, because you got a lot of your season cast that's here. Of course, Veronica is here, Danielle is here, Tracy is here. I thought I saw Tarania earlier, that's here, but then we want to say also hello to Miss Stephanie and Kamitris and Shalonda, and let me see who else. Oh, we have Sean came through. Sean White is on, and we actually just had the pleasure to go and support him on Monday night in the release of his song Kisses. And so, like, at the end of the day, this is kind of what we do. We are always about supporting one another. And I want to ask, like, how important for you is it to be able to selflessly, without ulterior motive, provide opportunities for other people?
Kingdom. It's kingdom work. That's the foundation of all of it. And when you think about your why, I always say your why for doing anything is always important. And when you have a solid why, you don't swing with the wind of opinions of others. So my why for everything I do is because the Lord is leading me to do it. My work is my assignment from God. Period. That's it. So with that why, I know that it's not done for myself, so he will grab me, the one, and then he gonna throw me out there with the rest of the 99 so that I can be a part of a group of people that God wants to bless. And that's it. The foundation, when you know your why, you can move forward through the good times, the bad times, the challenging times, because there have been times where I said, what am I doing now? Am I really gonna do? Because it's no simple undertaking trying to coordinate casting and locations, and then you have to rewrite the script at the last minute, sometimes the day of shooting, and it's a lot of moving pieces, and sometimes it's like, wait, why am I doing this? Oh yeah, okay, because you want me to do this. All right, Lord. And knowing that I'm doing it for him and his kingdom work, I know that he's responsible for backing me up. He's leading the way and he's backing me up at the same time. I heard, who was that? Reverend Jesse Jackson say the other day, he said, if we have the faith, God's got the power.
I
And
love it. I
that
love that.
is so true. So I'm going to continue to have the faith because I know God got the power to get it done, whatever he gives us to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. And you actually kind of alluded to or touched on the next question I want to ask, which is, what challenges have you faced along the way? Because, see, sometimes what happens is people feel like because they see you on the mountaintop, that you never experienced a valley. You know what I'm saying? They feel like because, oh, well, your show is on Tubi and, you have all of these different backers and supporters. So your life must be great. You must have never faced any type of challenges. What are, amongst some of the challenges that you've had to endure along this journey?
Oh, as a indie filmmaker, financing is always an issue. Making sure that you have the funding to get the projects done. It costs money to make a film. There are some things. I believe in the favor of God is amazing. And you were, oh hey Eve, and it's amazing, but it is challenging. Sometimes you're like, okay, we need to do this. How we're gonna do it? But it's so what blows my mind is as you go. As you go, it's always as you go. It's usually not you got everything all at once. It's usually as you go one step at a time, and then all of a sudden he will send people to help you, send people to bless you, or you'll get money from someplace you wouldn't even expect. And it's like, okay, so I guess we doing this. And so that is always the journey of an independent filmmaker, independent singer, any
Anything.
indie.
Yeah.
That's the indie issue that we always have, is that. But personally, sometimes it is a little, I don't say challenging, but sad, because now I don't have either one of my parents. So it's like, mama's not here to say go, as she used to say, come on, Reed, you can do it. And now it's like, oh, okay. And then my dad passed in 2022, and now I don't have my father either. And it's like, okay, so, you feel great about the things that God is leading you to do, but because, we're still their daughter, no matter what,
Yeah.
it's always like, mom and daddy, how do you like it? And then, oh, okay, they're not here anymore. But God, you got me, so we gonna keep it moving. And so that's one of the things for me. It's different. It always hits different, no matter how old you are, when your parents are no longer around. When you had good, supportive parents that were always in your corner as a child, and now with all the things that I'm doing, it's one of those like, look, Ma. Look what God had in store for your baby girl. But yeah, the biggest challenge is definitely, as an indie filmmaker, is the financing. I haven't had too many issues, not really any, because again, God sends the right people. Because as a filmmaker, sometimes the challenges can be with the personalities and dealing with personality conflicts. So sometimes that comes up. But then you have to remember, at the end of the day, I'm kingdom, and there is no competition in the kingdom, right? And in the kingdom, he said, blessed are the peacemakers. So we're going to have to, he going to pull your coattail and said, are you being a peacemaker? We're going to have to watch that. So, yeah, because again, everyone isn't nice. This industry is very challenging, because there are so many people who, unfortunately, believe that I'm going to get to the top by any means necessary. So I don't care how many people I step on to get where I'm going to do it. And in the kingdom, that's not our mindset. I don't have to step on you to get lifted up, because he's lifted me up, and he's going to lift you up too.
You better say something. You better say something. These are nuggets that I'm hoping that, whether you guys watch this live or on the replay, I'm hoping that you're writing it down and that you're filing it away in your heart, because it can become very challenging. First of all, doing the work is hard. Okay. I don't care how we talk about it. It's hard. It's called work for a reason. It's hard to do it, right? And so it's hard enough to execute something. And especially if you find yourself in the industry that you didn't have any previous experience in. So it's difficult enough just to be obedient, just to stay focused, just to continue, being driven to complete the assignment. And so you don't want to complicate it by trying to compare yourself to somebody else. You said something when you said about, hey, I'm kingdom, so I don't compete. And I think it is so important that we put that out there, because a lot of times that's exactly what people are looking to do. When you live in the type of society that we live in, where everything is about being viral and how many people liked it and how many this, like, it's all quantitative, right? It's all about numbers. But when you are kingdom, you kind of work from a different mindset. And so the implication further goes to say, as long as you know why you're doing what you're doing, that's really what's going to matter in the end. That's what's going to keep you going. And so for those of you who are just now tuning in, we're just about done. But I want to thank everybody who's taken the time to tune in and to watch this interview, Inspirational Talk with Toneal. We were on hiatus for a moment. So I thank everybody for joining me again, and especially tonight, to see and help celebrate this special woman, the 2023 APS Artistic Visionary of the Year, Aretha Miss Respect Tatum. And she has been giving us a lot of inspirational info, like sharing her journey, sharing her challenges, the things that she's found to be rewarding. And what I want to do is actually ask you, like, if you had advice to give anyone, whether it's they're looking to enter the filmmaker industry or just being independent generically, so whether it's as a singer, an author, an entrepreneur, whatever, what would that piece of advice be?
Spend time seeking knowledge about the industry. The way I entered into filmmaking was I knew media arts and entertainment was my territory, right? So I started going to film festivals. I started going to film premieres. I started taking some workshops. I started being around people who were in the industry. And because initially I thought my mission was to just encourage, inspire, to let them know you don't have to sell your soul to be in this industry. I thought it was just to minister to the people in the industry. So that was part one. So I was learning about it. And then the Lord said, yeah, but that's not it. I'm going to use you to create content that's going to give me glory. So that's where the filmmaker part came in. And I said, oh, okay, see, I didn't know that part of it. But guess what? I had already started being around other filmmakers. So I had some contacts with people that I had met. And believe it or not, when you just show up, they start to you get to see them and they get to see you. So I've had filmmakers say, hey, because it's you and I've seen that you came out to my film screening and you've come to this workshop, what do you need me to help you with? I can give you advice. I can give you pointers. And so that is where the training began. It was from people who had already been where I was trying to go, only because I had established a contact with them by simply just supporting them. You give and you will receive. So by giving my time or supporting in whatever way, they got familiar with my face too. And then they may not have known my name, but they say, I've seen you before. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. So I would always recommend whatever industry that you feel that God is leading you in, learn about it. Go around people who are doing it, attend their events. Yes, you got a network. It is. I know some of you, somebody I know, some people claim to be shy and reserved and don't like doing it, but it's amazing how many people who have a good heart to help that will want to give you pointers and give you help and say, hey, I remember when I first started out, try this, try that, and you get the benefit of their mistakes because mistakes teach you and then they can teach you what not to do.
Mm-hmm. And the irony is that that's totally the vision, or that was the reason why I created at the time Authors Promoting Success. It was all about, and it wasn't necessarily something that I looked to do, but a lot of the different people who had kind of gravitated toward me asking different advice and, what did you do, or what would you do, or how did you do this? And for me, it was just, natural to respond and to try to help. So to your point where you say there are a lot of people who they're willing to help and do if you just ask. And so for me, it started with people asking, and then they were the ones that were like, you should have your own organization, like, because what you're providing, so many people want and need to glean from. And so that exactly is what you're saying is so true. Like, you want to be around like-minded individuals, you want to put in the work, as Ms. Valerie just said, you have to network. Like, even if you are an introvert, writing a book about it, even if it makes you uncomfortable, you cannot succeed in this life alone. You definitely can't succeed as an independent alone, because just because you're independent does not mean you want to do everything independently, because you will never make it. And so in either case, I just again want to thank you so much for all of your nuggets and everything that you've done. Do you have it? Well, I know you do. Tell the people some of the things that you have coming up, and again, how they can get in touch with you, connect with Seasoned, and all the things that you have going on.
Oh, yes. You can definitely follow our Facebook page, Season the Series. Our website is seasontheseries.com. And we are definitely, right now, we want people, if you haven't seen Season on Tubi, go check it out. And if you've seen it, go tell somebody else about it on there on Tubi. Season the Series, the message, again, is what we want people to get and pass along, that you're not too old. It's not too late. You lived your life, now live your dream. So that you can also check my other films out on my YouTube, Miss Respect Speaks. Aretha Tatum on YouTube. My Instagram is Miss Respect Joy, because joy is my superpower. And also on TikTok, which I'm getting in there, not totally there. And Twitter is Miss Respect One. And I love working with us seasoned folks, but I also spend some time working on the other end. So I also work with a Positive Note LLC, and what we do is we work with children to remind them to always think, be, and stay positive. So that information for that is on positivenotebooks.com. I love helping other entrepreneurs to fulfill their dreams as well. So it's been an amazing, exciting joy. Also on my YouTube channel, you can check out some of my sermons in under 60.
I love it. I love it. So, guys, look, she does so much. And that's why y'all understand why I'm so grateful that she availed herself tonight, because she's not just working on her own projects, but she's always helping others do what it is that they do. So, whether it's, like helping Miss Linda Odom Jones with a positive note, or whether it's just mentoring other people, giving encouraging words, spreading her superpower, which is joy. She's always being seen doing something positive. And so, what I would like is to see you guys doing something positive and supporting her. So, she's kind of told you some things you can do. Go to her YouTube channel, and once this whole thing is over, she'll put it in the comment section so you guys can follow her, subscribe to her channel on YouTube. You'll be able to see some of her short films. You can watch those if you have not already done so. Again, Season the Series is streaming on Tubi. So if you're not one of the almost million people who have watched that, then make sure that you actually take the time to watch the series and just continue to support. Go to kincaidcreations.com to get the merchandise, and just be on the lookout, because there is always something going on. This movement, it is moving. It is not stagnant. It's not stationary. So you're going to always hear about what the next thing is. And if you are in the 50 plus age group, definitely be on the lookout, because you never know when she's going to start filming again, and you might just find yourself in the next episode of Season the Series. And so I want to thank you so much, Miss Respect, for coming on. Thank you so much for shining your light. Thank you so much for doing what you do, because truly, not just the crowd 50 plus do you give inspiration to, but you inspire all of us. So thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Joy is contagious, so spread it everywhere.
I love it. And so, for all of you all who have just tuned in, thank you all for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. And I encourage you to continue to tune in, to Inspirational Talk every week from now through August 24th, which is the date of the 7th Annual APS Awards Gala. There will be a different set of honorees that will serve as my guests. So, next week, we are going to have the members of the 2023 APS Writers Society cohort to join us, and they are in the persons of Sharon Lockhart, Tiffany Harris, Michelle Gerard, Beatrice Carter, and Mary Hale. So at least one, if not all five of those ladies, will be joining us next Thursday. We will still be live at 7 p.m. And so I want to thank all of you so much. And again, if you have seen something that you like and you yourself would like to be a guest on the show, please feel free to send an email to TonealJackson@yahoo.com. Remember, with Inspirational Talk, we interview everyday people making extraordinary choices and being intentional about living the best life that you can. And so, if you would like to be a guest, don't forget to go ahead and send that email to TanealJackson@yahoo.com. And also, don't forget that you can be a sponsor for the show. So if you are interested in sponsorship, also feel free to reach out to me. And if you're not already doing so, I encourage you to follow me across social media at my name is Toneal, whether that be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Clubhouse, or Wisdom. You can find and follow me at my name is Toneal. And I would be remiss if I did not remind you all that this when is it, Wednesday, July 19th is going to be the last day that you can get your early bird tickets for the 7th annual awards gala. They are now only $40. You can either go to Eventbrite, Facebook, or you can send your money via Cash App to APS International or Zelle, APS International at gmail.com. And do not worry, I will put all of that information in the comment section. But we would love to see your face in the place at the 7th annual APS Awards Gala Thursday night. Thursday, August 24th at 6:30 p.m. at the Kroc Center in Chicago, 1250 West 119th Street. But thank you all so much for tuning in. And you know what? Let me say this. I would be remiss if I didn't say this. I found out that I am also going to be honored for being a phenomenal Black woman in ministry. And that is going to be the Sunday after the awards gala. So that Sunday, August 27th, I will be being honored. And so I actually get to be on the other side of the roles, if you will. So I am honoring everybody on this night, but that Sunday I will be honored. And so I want to thank whomever nominated me for that category. Thank Miss Jada Tennille James for hosting this event. But I want to thank all of you who continue to support me in whatever ways that you support me. Thank you so much. Know that it does not go unnoticed. And now I will say thank you all so much for tuning in. And until next time, you all stay inspired. Thank you so much.